H is for hawk is that rarity amongst the Edexcel anthology texts. It's genuinely interesting and well written. But do you know exactly how to get 12 out of 12 for question 4? I'm going to show you how. Come on in, Schofield on Shakespeare.
Abbiamo il cuore a strisce, portaci dove vuoi.
Here's the mark scheme. To get the full 12, you need to ensure that you nearly always use subject terminology post-quotation, that you seamlessly embed and introduce your quotations, and you put them into context, and that you cover the passage as a whole. You know these key principles by now. So this video is going to explore this question. How does the writer use language and structure to portray the birds and setting? So jot this down and reconsider your text in the light of this question as the text appears on screen at 5-second intervals. I'd suggest adding additional annotations to your own copy of the text to ensure that the quotations you reference are sharply relevant. The vocabulary is trickier in this text than most of the other ones within the anthology. So part 1, can you match the word with its correct meaning? Slam down the pause button right now. How did you do? Here are the answers. Press pause now to check. But there are more tricky uns. Time for part 2, same process. Remember, you want to know exactly what these words mean. Press pause now to be honest with yourself. Do you need to jot down any of these words and definitions? How confident are you? Are they in your long-term memory? So these are the answers. Press pause now to assess your understanding. Given that the text is not an unseen, you do need to prepare as much as possible before the exam. Annotations play a crucial role in this. Here are my annotations in relation to this particular question. Press pause now on each slide to ponder these annotations, and if it's helpful, add them to your own copies of the text. It's that time, guys. Time to write your own essay, which you'll be able to compare with my corker. How does the writer use language and structure to portray the birds and setting? Remember, 4 chunky paragraphs, each exploring 3 quotations, subject terminology, but no need for an intro or a conclusion. Get cracking. Press pause now.
How did you get on? Time to compare your response to mine.
The opening of the extract presents the birds within packaged boxes, subject to strangely bureaucratic procedures. The two hawks are within boxes with parcel tape handles and hinges of carefully tied string. These consecutive noun phrases draw attention to the care with which the hawks have been packed away. However, as one of the boxes begins to be opened, there is a sudden thump of feathered shoulders. This onomatopoeic noun implies the power and size of the hawk and its urgent desire to come out of the box. This is also seen in the reference to the box shaking as if someone had punched it. This imagery highlights the frantic, abrupt, writhing movements within the box, and also highlights the fact that the box is beginning to be creased and slightly misshapen due to the hawk's powerful struggles. As it is taken out of the box, the first hawk is portrayed as bewildered, confused, and beautiful. Within an enormously long complex sentence, MacDonald refers to a whirring, chaotic clatter of wings and feet and talons, and the use of polysyndeton implies the large size of the bird. There are so many different body parts emerging which overwhelm and surprises MacDonald. Meanwhile, the adjectives whirring and chaotic suggest the frenzied, haphazard movements of the hawk as it adjusts to comparative freedom and light away from the confines of a box. This hawk is clearly afraid, hence her feathers being raised like the scattered quills of a fretful porpentine. A porpentine is a type of porcupine, and so in this simile, MacDonald is suggesting that the hawk feels unsettled and that she's trying to defend herself. Just as a porcupine would erect its quills at the prospect of danger, so the hawk is tensing her feathers so that ends can potentially be used in self-defense. However, the author clearly feels that there is something magical about the hawk. She is a conjuring trick. This metaphor within a simple sentence suggests that the hawk's appearance seems somehow miraculous and impossible. How can such a beautiful creature have emerged so quickly from a mere box? Newly introduced to the natural world, the first hawk is presented as vulnerable. Initially, she hangs upside down like a turkey in a butcher's shop. This simile highlights the defenselessness of the hawk and suggests that her wings may be tied down in a similar way to turkeys being sold for meat. Additionally, this simile reminds the reader of the hawk's essential dependence on human beings and its lack of self-sufficiency. However, MacDonald presents the hawk as being mesmerised and overwhelmed by the natural world, such a contrast from her early days inside an aviary. She uses a very long complex sentence which starts with two separate main clauses, but now it is this, and she can see everything. Both the semicolon and the colon create a sense of anticipation for the bewildering range of sights and sounds that both human beings and hawks can experience, particularly when by the sea. For instance, there is the point source glitter on the waves. This noun phrase paints a picture of tiny sparks of shimmering light on the waves and highlights the magical beauty of the natural world. The end of this huge complex sentence refers to illegible things moving that are white scraps of gulls. The hawk and all living creatures are exposed not just to vibrant details at relatively close hand, but beauteous, indistinct, hazy colours far into the distance. Within this section, we sense that MacDonald is celebrating the natural world to which the hawk has just been introduced. This is likely to be particularly important and poignant to her, given the recent death of her father. She needs distractions and is all the more likely to savour life and beauty when she encounters it. The second hawk, in contrast, is presented as wild and dim-witted. MacDonald notes that she emerged from the box like a Victorian melodrama. This simile paints this hawk's movements as annoyingly theatrical and over the top, something confirmed by the subsequent reference to her being a sort of madwoman in the Attack. This amusing pun refers to attic-confined Bertha Mason within Bronte's Jane Eyre, and suggests that this hawk may have the potential to willfully attack at unexpected moments due to insanity. The second hawk also irritates with the sound it emits. Instead of twittering, she wailed. Whereas the first hawk sounds are melodious, high-pitched and pleasing to the ear, the second hawk's cries are loud and infuriating. The distance immediately created between MacDonald and this second hawk is emphasised within a dramatic short sentence for effect. Some madness from a distant country. Those from faraway lands speak different languages and have a very different cultures. The overall impression is that even though MacDonald wants a hawk to distract her from her grief, she knows that she will not be able to build any connection with this particular wild, alien, strange creature. Some observations. This first paragraph is significantly shorter than the other ones, and this is because there is less to say in relation to the question within the first quartile of the text. This is absolutely fine. As ever with these questions, make sure that you're being technical and precise post-quotation. Make sure that you're using subject terminology, which I do here as I reference consecutive noun phrases and onomatopoeic noun and imagery. This essay needs to flow. Look at these linking phrases around the quotations, which help contextualize the point being made, which help me demonstrate a very detailed understanding of the text. As it is taken out of the box, comma, this hawk is clearly afraid, comma. Seek out opportunities to comment on structure as well as language. Within this section, I do this with my dissection of the role played by the colon and the semicolon, and the overall huge complex sentence. Coverage is so important with this task. You can't get bogged down by particularly complex quotations and spend ages exploring one of them at the expense of showing overall text insights. Look here at how condensed my references to Bronte's Jane Eyre and how quickly I move back to the original image and its effects.
This has been a Schofield on Shakespeare production helping you with H is for hawk, in particular how the writer portrays the birds and the setting. This has been Schofield on Shakespeare. Many thanks for watching.